have got to stop reading to our kids. Sure, there's some benefits, to those little sponges. But what is in it for you, and what is in it for me? Today I'm going to suggest an alternative. The current method has some serious issues, okay? First of all, it puts me to sleep before I'm done the book and before they're asleep. It requires a trip to the library to get fresh material. And even when we do get fresh material, we end up reading the exact same book over and over and over again. An exciting alternative, inspired by my little darlings with a mellifluous voice. And you may not be able to hear, but let's just stop chewing for a second. How do these things work? Right, yeah, I didn't understand that either. What he was saying was, tell me a story, Daddy, of when you were a little boy.
Oh.
Okay. So here's the goal with story time or bedtime. We're trying to get from here, rowdy, rambunctious little boys, to here, sweet, darling, little sleeping children. Am I right?
Yeah.
Do we have any people in here that have little children or have the opportunity to? Yes, they're darlings, aren't they? As he mentioned, it's interesting to note that people of every age seem to have an interest and a need to know where they come from and who their people are. Kids enjoy imagining that someone ancient as myself was at one point a little kid just like them. I remember being a kid and asking my dad the same thing. Tell me a story about when you were a kid. And he would always pull out the same stories. There's the story about him when he was 6 and he got a train at Christmas. And there was a story about him on a bike with had 2 different size wheels and he'd do wheelies all around town. I started getting bored of those stories. And I realized my kids are going to start getting bored. Well, I'm getting bored of the stories that I'm telling my kids about when I was little. Skating in the field. They've heard that one about 15,000 times. Swimming beyond the buoys. That's dangerous. That's where I almost drowned. Snow forts in the drifts. Learning how to swim. Riding my bike for the first time. Canoeing in the rain. As Toastmasters, our children deserve better. Every night can be a training for table topics. I'd like to suggest a new method. You print off sample random illustrations or icons from the internet. Look at that, I even recycled our Toastmasters. And let the kids pick an image. Okay? And then you go. Then you gotta start talking and you gotta tell them a cool story. Yeah. So example, 2 nights ago my kid picked a suitcase. I was like, suitcase. Okay, I got it. When I was a little boy, because that's how they always start, my mommy would always go on business trips. And when she came back, she gave me these little shoes that were from Holland. They were little wooden clogs. Anyways, the story was much longer because I was trying to get them to go to sleep. But kids offer great critique and provide evals in unconventional methods. Good stories get asked for over and over again. Bad stories and boring stories are provided immediate feedback. Because kids do like to do things on the repeat, there's an opportunity to improve your stories. You can retell the same story, but this time with a lesson. You can retell the same story, but this time with a little twist at the end. And you can always tell the same story and relate it back to them as kids today and get them engaged in the conversation, which may not be great for bedtime, but regardless. There are benefits of storytelling. There's the oral history, passing on of information. You're sharing about when you were a kid and what your grandparents did and bringing that to them today. There's the relatable aspect of it. For youth, seeing you as being a young person, and then those stories come up later in conversations throughout the day, throughout the week. And it requires imagination for you and as well as for the kids. there are also side effects of spoken stories. One, they do not instantly fall asleep. And the stories, but they also ask follow-up questions, which take longer and longer and longer. However, they carry that story sheet around. You can see it's crumpled. They carry this around probably for the last 3 days, asking me, okay, I'm ready for this one. I'm ready for this story. But I find the more stories that I tell from this sheet that I've never seen before, the more stories I remember, and the more stories I'm able to share with them. The other great thing about this concept is that you can repurpose this sheet when grandma comes to town, or when your aunt is there, or the uncle, or the babysitter, because they've all got different unique perspectives, and this picture is going to give somebody a completely different story than I would have shared with them. I'm feeling that maybe there's a flashcard of table topics coming out. It's going to be great because I wouldn't have to do any speaking up here, and you guys would have to tell me your table topics. Now, to get you started, I've developed a free app. Just kidding. However, if you would like me to send you this picture, because it's so hard to do an internet search, I would be happy to email that to you. But I do want to leave you with this. Sure, there are benefits to books. However, Toastmasters kids deserve better. They deserve an experience, and they deserve bedtime topics. Thank you.